You probably heard of the Bermuda Triangle. It is a creature that is obscure to everyone, about which there are many legends and movies. And what is it? And how did it come about? It is first found in the books of Christopher Columbus. He writes in his notebooks that several ships and their ships mysteriously disappeared in the deep and cold waters of Antarctica, in the same region. But the first official registration of inspections took place on March 4, 1980. The ship, which sailed from Brazil to America, disappeared with a crew of 309 people, and the corpses of sailors were not found. After that, two ships disappeared in World War II, and then dozens of planes and ships disappeared. These objects continued to disappear, but no one gave a name to the problem. As in 1964, let's take a look at the Iceland, the Bermuda Triangle, exotic and mathematical. Do you think there is a need to think of a more frightening name? Of course, good. The name was coined by a journalist named Winston. Yes, he invented it. The other writers added their own books. Then the documentary. And that's it. Because, as honest, the documentary is here, not everyone has a word to say.
Bermuda Triangle. It's here, off the southeastern Atlantic coast of the United States. You are about to see a motion picture that will explore one of the strangest and most dangerous mysteries of our time. It's based on the best-selling book by Charles Berlitz.
Everyone immediately believes. Well, should we believe what has been said and shown, which has not been proven by evidence, and which is called documentary without the opinion of scientists? Of course not. Let's find out. The first question, I think, should be, why triangles? Why not 4, 5, or a circle? Why 3? Because Winston was very comfortable using Florida. Okay, why Florida? I will say it later. Another island might have been Cuba, but Cuba was not very popular at this time. Therefore, the island to be chosen could only be Puerto Rico. But there is a problem. Need to create triangles. Because Winston wanted triangles. Okay, why triangles? You will understand it too. At this point, Winston needed a third point. And the third point, of course, with the island of Bermuda. It had everything you needed. All that was left was to exaggerate. All is a little. Now, try to understand. Why Florida? Why triangles? For this, I will show you the first part of a film. It is said that 5 planes were found in the dust in the desert. But we don't understand the situation. After a while, it becomes too clear to us.
Not a professional interpreter. My occupation is cartography. I'm a map maker.
Here we are talking about flight number 19, which flights actually took place.
They're all there! All of them!
But not as in the movies. Because in real life, none of those 5 planes were found. Then listen carefully. 5 planes left Florida for training exercises, and the map given to them was in the shape of triangles. Yes, you had right. Florida and triangle-shaped map. They had to shoot along this map and return. At 3 o'clock, they left the ground exactly 40 minutes after the flight. The compasses stopped working. But the pilot was very experienced, and because the technology was not developed at that time, only small islands or rocks could help. The pilot looked at the island and thought he was heading west, but unfortunately they did not their place correctly, and they were fully 300 miles farther than they were. 2 more planes were sent to help them, but it appears that only one of these planes returned. A total of 6 planes disappeared that day, and their remains were never found. I was from here that Vincent set out and invented the name. Combined Florida and Bermuda created the Traverse Triangle. Yes, Bermuda Triangle. Was it really scary to be there or not? Let's look at the history. The number of ships that sank after 1,500 after the place is 50, and the number of planes is 20. But in 2010 alone, the number of ships sunk in the world was 172, and none of these ships sank there. The place where they sank was Japan, China, the North, the White Sea, and the Black Sea, the most dangerous seas in the world. Why is the Bermuda Triangle so exaggerated? Everywhere in the world, even in the small seas, do we not encounter the biggest, strongest forces and storms during this year? The area of this triangle is extremely large. Why is it so exaggerated that there are storms, hurricanes, and shipwrecks all over the world? It is really scary here. Why is tourism growing more and more here every day? Why do more planes fly from here every day? Many ships and trade routes pass through here. Even the dozens of planes, ships that sailed from the Brazil to America, and 2 ships that disappeared during World War II, which we mentioned at the beginning of the video. It did not disappear in this triangle. It disappeared around the triangle, even further away from it. But all unsubstantiated sources state that those ships and planes sank here. The only thing that surprised everyone was the disappearance of 5 planes. Here are 2 events that make us think. 1. Why don't compasses show pulse? 2. Where are the remains of 5 planes? Let's understand them. During storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, and other marine and air disasters, where in the world do compasses work normally? We are really exaggerating. Now, let's look at the second issue. Where did the remains of these 5 planes disappear? Listen carefully. We humans have created a map of not only the Earth but also the surface of the Moon. We are working not only on the Moon but also on the surface of Mars and Venus. And the map we made covers 6 meters. Each inch can be calculated from 6 meters. And the oceans. We are so weak in front of oceans that we can only map an area of 5 kilometers. We can do more. That is, there are extreme places, depths, points in the oceans that we have not discovered. If the number of places we have discovered is so small, why are we surprised that the remains of these 5 planes have not been found? Before we start this video, we tried to solve the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle. But no, it became clear that I didn't have a secret. The Bermuda Triangle, which has been a mystery to people for years, is nothing more than the fabrication of a journalist, and the journalist would join it.